What's good with y'all, man? It's CT Hazy, and today I'll be starting a start bench cut series in 2K21 PlayNow online this year. But before we get into the video, please consider dropping a like as it takes me a while to make these. And if you're new to the channel and enjoy PlayNow online content, please consider smashing that subscribe button as we are on the road to 900 subs. It's completely free and it'll mean the world to me. And lastly, if you want to get to know me, see me play live on Twitch, make sure you get there. I'll leave the link down below. Now without further ado, y'all, let's get right into it. Alright, so to break down how this works, if you don't already know how this series is going to work, is I'm going to get a list from different people on my Instagram that replied to my story, and it'll be a start bench cut, and I'll have to choose between those three guys that they gave me who I want to start if I had a team, who I would put on my bench, and who I would cut. Now, this is obviously going to be based around 2K21 PlayNow online. It's not going to be based off of any other game modes or IRL. Alright, y'all, so for this first one is coming in from my boy Divine. Shout out to my boy Divine, man. And he gave me a list of LaMelo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, and Moran. So let's start off with who I would cut out of this point guard list. And I would actually cut, surprisingly, LaMelo Ball. I know LaMelo Ball has a lot of potential at IRL, but this is 2K. And this year, his stats is okay, but he only has an 82 3 ball on his release, y'all. I'm not a big fan of that release. He has like a big hitch in it where he kind of like brings it to his, he shoots it just kind of like how he does IRL, and I don't really like that hitch. It just throws me off. It's weird. I don't like it. It's slow too. So even in a spot up situation, I'm not a fan of it. So I'm gonna cut him because he's not the best at rim running too compared to the other two guys. The next guy that would come off my bench is Moran, and here's why. I know Moran has gold showtime, and he's slightly better at shooting threes, in my opinion, at least in my experience of using them. But I feel like 2K just nerfed him, y'all. Like at this point in 2K, I feel like he doesn't get as much context dunks as he used to. So yeah, and he's not as fast as De'Aaron Fox, so which leads me to De'Aaron Fox being my starter. I would use De'Aaron Fox because De'Aaron Fox is just a crackhead, y'all. Like he moves so fast. Although he only has a 76 3 ball and he doesn't have gold showtime, he could play lockdown defense. Like when I use this King squad, I use him as my primary defender. But because of how fast he is and how crazy he moves up and down the court offensively, he's just like no one can match him. Like he's stupid fast. The only guy that comes close to him is probably Westbrook. But yeah, with that being said, y'all, I have De'Aaron Fox as my starter. Next up, we have my guy Antonio, man. Shout out to my guy Antonio, and he gave me a list of Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, and Trae Young, y'all. So first off, who I would cut, surprisingly, is actually gonna be Jason Tatum, y'all. His release is just so bad. I hate his release, and he's not very fast in 2K. He only has like a 79 speed with ball, so that holds him back a lot. And when I use him, he's more of an afterthought. I use more of Jaylen Brown on that Celtics squad to do a lot of my playmaking and slashing and all that. So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna cut Jason Tatum. Now, the guy that would come off my bench was a little tough to choose between Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell, but it basically comes down to rim running or three-point shooting. And if I'm gonna choose, I'm gonna go with three-point shooting. So Donovan Mitchell would come off my bench because he can get to the rim and get some crazy dunk animations, and he has a gold showtime. However, threes are worth more than twos, and that's just how the game is played. And especially with speed boosting this year, Trae Young is so tough to guard if you know how to shoot with him and get his release down. And he has Steph Curry dribble sticks, y'all. That Curry slide go crazy this year. So with that being said, y'all, Trae Young is just crazy on running around screens and getting in 300. I'm gonna go for threes with Trae Young over Donovan Mitchell dunking the ball. So Trae Young is gonna be my starter. Donovan Mitchell is coming off my bench, and I'm cutting Jason Tatum. All right, man. Next one coming in is from my guy Bryant. Shout out to my boy Bryant. He gave me a list of Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and Shaquille O'Neal. So let's start off with the guy who I'd cut. I'm gonna hands down cut Kevin Garnett. The reason being is he has a slow release. He can't shoot the ball very well. Although he has a 94 mid-range, his release is literally like a snail shooting the ball, y'all. It's stupid slow. He brings the ball over his head, and I mean, that's how he shot at IRL, and it makes sense, but it's just not good in 2K, y'all. Like, it just holds him back from being a floor spacer. And if it comes down to being a rim running center, I'd rather have Shaq, y'all. Shaq is just way better. Shaq is huge. He's 7'1". He has a massive build, and on top of that, he has way better defensive badges and stats. If his defense is just perfect, damn near, in terms of being a big. So, but he can't shoot the ball. He only has a 26 overall three-point rating. That leads to my starter being Tim Duncan. And I can work with Tim Duncan because, look, he has a 75 three-pointer and a 95 mid-range. And on top of that, he has some good shooting badges. He has corner specialist on gold and catch and shoot on gold. And his release is workable. Like, I can work with his release, y'all. Compared to KG's, I cannot work with it. And obviously, Shaq is egregious when it comes to shooting. So you're never going to shoot with Shaq. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to go for offense over defense and have Tim Duncan as my starter with Shaq as my bench guy. guy, and I'm cutting Kevin Garnett. All right, next one, man, coming in from my guy Serge. Shout out to my boy Serge, man. He gave me a list of Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, and Damian Lillard. That's a good list. I like that list. In 2K, obviously IRL, that's a good list. The first guy I would cut is Kyrie Irving, y'all. His release, like, I get a lot of whites with it. Like, it goes in, but at the end of the day, I don't like it because it's a white. Like, it's a 50-50 shot in my opinion. Like, I can never consistently green with this dude. Now, I will say he gets buckets, like in 2K and IRL. He gets buckets in 2K just like IRL. And his dribble sigs is solid, it's okay, but he doesn't have Curry sigs. So Curry obviously has him in that department. And the reason I have him being cut instead of Dame is because Dame can go to the rim and slash, y'all. Like in 2K, I don't know what they did, but they be sucking him in terms of slashing. Like Dame going to the rim is crazy, y'all. He has 12 finishing badges. Nothing too crazy. He does have Showtime on bronze though, but I don't know what it is. 2K just gave him some solid dunk animations. Like, it's not like Zach LaVine type level or Zion Williamson, but for a point guard, Damian Lillard can slash, y'all. And on top of that, I like his release way more than Kyrie's. That's the reason why I have Dame coming off my bench. Wow. And if you already know, man, you should know Steph Curry is the best point guard, damn near best player in this game, hands down, PlayNow online. He's one of one. Like, no one could really play like him, with the exception to maybe Trey because of his dribble sigs, but Trey can't hit at a high clip like Steph Curry because of his stats and badges. So with that being said, Steph Curry is going to be my starter. Damian's coming off my bench, and I'm cutting Kyrie Irving. All right, coming up next, man, is from my boy Ashwin. Shout out to my dog Ashwin. He gave me another big man list just like Brian's, and it's between DeMarcus Cousins, Nikola Jokic, and Dwight Howard, y'all. So I will admit that I never really used this Sacramento all-time King squad, but I have used DeMarcus on the Clippers, and I know that that's not the prime DeMarcus and all that, but I'm not a fan of this release. And looking at his stats, he only has an 83 ball, and he only has 3 badges, shooting badges, and the biggest ones are catch and shoot and pick and popper. But his release holds him back a lot, y'all. And on top of that, defensively, he only has 5 badges, none of them on Hall of Fame. And if you look at his speed, he's stupid slow, y'all. Like, he's only a 63 overall speed. So I'm gonna cut DeMarcus Cousins. What? Coming off my bench, I'd rather have Dwight because he can play defense and he's fast. Like, he can run up and down the court with an 88 overall speed. DeMarcus is gonna hold you back because he can't shoot the ball very well. Like, his release is gonna hold him back. So you don't like. It's like you can't really depend on him to space the floor. So I'd rather rely on Dwight, who's fast and can play defense, because look at his badges, y'all. Like, this is 4 of them, and some of these are really huge to have on Hall of Fame as a big. And on top of that, he has these on gold as well. So with that being said, I'm gonna have Dwight coming off my bench, and I'm gonna start Nikola Jokic, y'all. Here's why. Nikola Jokic can shoot the ball, and his release is workable. I can work with his release. It's a little slow, don't get me wrong, but it's greenable. Like, I can work with it. It's an 87 overall 3-point rating, and he has 15 shooting badges, y'all. Like, look at this. Like, that's crazy for a center, and he's 6'11", and I can even 5-out with him. When I use this Nugget squad, I can go 5-out with him and use him as a rim running type of center and play make with him as well if someone wants to help off the corner. And on top of that, he has Dimer as a center on gold, y'all. So he's gonna give that boost to your teammates, whoever's shooting the ball. So yeah, with that being said, Nikola Jokic is so versatile. His defense is probably the worst out of these 3 guys, but his offense is like hands down the best. Not only did Ashwin send a big man list, but he also sent a point guard list that I liked, so I'm gonna use it. So shout out to Ashwin again for this list, and it was between Derrick Rose, Ben Simmons, and Steph Curry. So let's start off with who I'd cut first. Unfortunately, man, D Rose was one of my favorite players growing up back in the day. He still is obviously one of my favorite players. However, unfortunately, he's a small rim running point guard, y'all, that can't really play defense very well. He has 0 defensive badges, y'all. So he's only 6'3". While he can get to the rim and slash like at a high rate and get contact dunks here and there, I'd rather have Ben Simmons, y'all. Reason being is Ben Simmons is 6'11", weighs 240, and he has 13 defensive badges, y'all. And Clamps is there, tireless defenders there on goal. Like, those are huge, and his build just carries him, y'all. Derrick Rose can shoot threes better, obviously, but it's not at a high rate where it's just like blows him out the water. So if I'm gonna choose, I'm gonna pick a guy that can rim run and play defense that's 6'11", as opposed to a guy that's only 6'3" and can only rim run and play okay defense. Which obviously leads me to Steph Curry as my starter, man. He's the best player in the game, hands down, and y'all already know how I feel about Steph Curry. All right, y'all, next one up is from my boy Darian. Shout out to my boy Darian. Shout out to my guy B as well. He also had this same list as my boy Darian, man. So make sure y'all tap in with both of them. Show him some love on Instagram, y'all. Man, his list was Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. Basically 3 of the GOATs, y'all. So this is a tough list for me, in my opinion, especially in 2K. So let's get into who I'd cut first. The guy I would actually surprisingly cut first is Michael Jordan, and here's why. Him and LeBron, I feel like, are pretty similar type of players. They're more of rim running point guards that could shoot spot up shots and defend very, very well. However, when it comes down to it, I feel like LeBron's better because of his build. He's 6'8" and weighs more. Both of them basically have similar, all three of them actually, for a matter of fact, all have similar tendencies, stats, and badges. However, LeBron's just better because of his build overall. So I would rather have LeBron over Michael Jordan in 2K. So LeBron would come off my bench and I would cut Michael. Now, which leads me to Kobe as my starter. The reason I would start Kobe is because he can do the same things. Like if you look at his stats, he has solid stats like defensively. He has a 97, which is damn near perfect perimeter defense. And his lateral quickness is 97 as well. And he has gold clamps, y'all. So I mean, Michael Jordan I know has Hall of Fame, but Kobe's offensive game compared to the other two guys is just so much better, y'all. I can quick stop with him in the mid-range, and I like his shot on a catch and shoot situation when it comes to threes way more compared to LeBron's and Michael Jordan's. So it was tough for me to make this start bench cut list. However, when it comes down to it, I'm gonna cut Michael Jordan, have LeBron come off my bench, and start Kobe Bryant, y'all. All right, man, next one's coming up from my boy Matt. Shout out to my boy Matt. Go give him a follow on Instagram, show him some love. And the list he gave me was Bradley Beal, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell. Now, between these three guys, they all played different positions, but it's cool because I feel like it wasn't too hard to make this list. So I would cut Bradley Beal. Here's why. He's only 6'3", and he's supposed to be a knockdown shooter, like a spot up shooter, like sharpshooter. But he only has an 84 3-ball, and his release I'm not a big fan of. Although he has 16 shooting badges, I'm not a fan of that release, y'all. So that holds him back, and defensively he's not very good. And when I use this Wizard squad, I'm using Westbrook 90% of the time, and Bradley Beal is more of an afterthought. And then when it comes to my bench guy, I'm gonna have Jason Tatum come off my bench. It's just only because he has a better build, and I feel like I can work with Jason Tatum a little bit more than Bradley Beal when it comes to like being my main player. So I would rather have Jason Tatum than Bradley Beal. All right, and then that leads me to my starter, y'all. It's gonna be Donovan Mitchell, and the reason being is he's just offensively, he's just uncomparable to the other two guys. He can rim run like crazy and get crazy contact dunk animations compared to the other two guys. And I like his spot up shot because his release is just better than the other two guys in my opinion. Although he's probably not supposed to be a better shooter than them, I feel like I can green more with Donovan Mitchell. So offensively, he blows the other two guys out the water. He might not be good defensively like them, like Jason Tatum, for example, but when it comes down to it, Donovan Mitchell will be my starter for this list. All right, shout out to all three of my guys, man. Dustin, Curtis, and Raymond. They all gave me the same list. So make sure y'all tap in with all three of them. Show them some love on Instagram. And the list that they gave me was between LeBron, Giannis, and KD. I like this one, man. This is basically a demigod one. So yeah, let's get into it. I love using all three of these guys, but when it comes down to who I'm gonna cut, I'm gonna actually cut LeBron James, and here's why. Him and Giannis are basically the same type of player, with the exception that LeBron could shoot spot up threes better. I'm not gonna say a little bit better, but better. But his release is not like, I'm not a fan of that release. Like I don't even shoot threes with LeBron regardless anyways, unless it's like shot clock winding down type of situation. And so that leads me to who my bench guy is, and it's actually Giannis. Giannis is 6'11", and he can guard 1 through 5. Obviously, LeBron probably could guard a 5, but I feel like if you really wanted to, you could put Giannis on a 5. And on top of that, his build is just crazy, y'all. He's 6'11", his arms are like touching the floor. When you speed boost with him, it's like unmatched. Maybe Bobo, but Bobo is not as fast as Giannis is. So yeah, Giannis is just OD in this game. Like rim running wise and defensively wise, Giannis is one of the few that could do it like him. And then that leads me to my starter, man. It's KD. The reason being is because KD is 6'10" and can stretch the floor, y'all. He's 91 overall 3-ball, and he can move with the ball too. Like Giannis, his dribble animations isn't as good. Like LeBron probably has him in that department, but KD has it over both of those other two guys. So with that being said, y'all, I like KD offensively. He's just crazy at 6'10", what he can do with the ball. So I'm gonna have KD starting, Giannis on my bench, and I'm cutting LeBron James in 2K21. All right, so this next one is coming in from my boy Rome. Man, go show him some love on Instagram, tap in with him, follow him, and all that stuff, y'all. The list he gave me was Luka, Devin Booker, and Jason Tatum, y'all. So let's start off with who I would cut. I would actually cut Jason Tatum, y'all. I'm just not a big fan of Jason Tatum this year. Like he's on a couple other lists in this video, so y'all already know how I feel about Jason Tatum. He's slow and his release is just not very good. So I'm cutting Jason Tatum. Now coming off the bench is Devin Booker. Devin Booker is like spotty with me. There's games where I'll go crazy with him, and there's games where I'll just miss with him. The reason being is just his release is lightning quick, y'all. Like it's so fast that it's hard to green. Compared to Buddy Hield is quick, but like I can green with that. But I will say that Devin Booker obviously is okay defensively. He's 6'5". However, he's just not as good as Luka Doncic. So Luka Doncic is going to be my starter for this lineup because he's 6'7", and I like his release, and they fixed his release actually, matter of fact, midway through the year, and gave him better dribble sigs. So Luka is just solid all around. He's gonna do everything solid for you. He's not gonna be the best shooter, the best rim running type of point guard, but he can do everything solid. He can move with the ball, run around screens, and he's huge for a point guard. He's 6'7". Like, he's not Giannis type of height, but he's 6'7", and that's way taller than most point guards in this game. So yeah, with that being said, Luka's my starter with D-Book off the bench, and I'm cutting Jason Tatum, y'all. All right, man, next one's coming in from my boy Darren. Shout out to my dog Darren, man. Show him some love on Instagram. Go tap in with him, follow him. And the list he gave me was Kyle Lowry, Bradley Beal, and CJ McCollum. Now, the first guy I would cut is Kyle Lowry. He's one of those guys that's not really a good 2K player. Kind of like IT, for example. IT was really good IRL, but when he was on that Boston squad back in the old 2Ks, he wasn't very good just because they're undersized point guards that can't run to the rim. So, and they're okay at shooting the ball. I will say that though. But Kyle Lowry, the thing that he has great going on for him is he has Curry Sigs. Like, when you have Curry Sigs, you got to be able to shoot the ball. Like, if you're gonna run around screens, and he's not like Trae Young or Steph Curry at all. His release is kind of slow. He has that hitch to it, and he's just super tiny, y'all. So with that being said, he's gonna be cut off of this list. Then I would have Bradley Beal come off my bench. The reason being is he could shoot the ball better. I'd rather use him as a spot up shooter than have to depend on Kyle Lowry to play make for me. Although I'm not a big fan of Bradley Beal in this game, I will have Bradley Beal come off my bench. And then that leaves me to CJ McCollum. He's gonna be my starter. I'm pretty big on CJ McCollum in this game. He's really good offensively. Defensively, he's not there at all, and he's kind of slow with the ball too. But he has Curry Sigs and can shoot the ball. Like, I like shooting with him way more than Kyle Lowry. And on top of that, he's 6'3", so he's not as small as Kyle Lowry. So yeah, with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna start CJ McCollum, have Bradley Beal off my bench, and then cut Kyle Lowry. All right, man, next one is coming in from my boy Caden. Shout out to Caden. Go follow him, show him some love. And the list he gave me was really tough, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. And it's Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, and Kevin Garnett. All three are tough on 2K. Like, I love using all three of them. But when it comes down to it, y'all, the person that I'm actually gonna cut is Kobe Bryant, y'all. And here's the reason why. Kobe Bryant can rim run and defend very well. All three of these guys can in terms of all-time players. However, when it comes down to it, I'm gonna choose build. And Kobe's only 6'6", and offensively his jump shot is not as greenable, for me at least, compared to the other two guys. He's not as versatile because KD is 6'10" and T-Mac is 6'8". So that they already have that advantage defensively. And so they have that length and size defensively to be in the passing lanes and just be pests off the ball and on the ball too. That length helps a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna cut Kobe Bryant, and then coming off my bench is going to be T-Mac, y'all. It's gonna be T-Mac. He's 6'8", weighs 210, and has a 91 overall 3-ball, and he has really good shooting badges, y'all. I will say that. But when it comes down to it, y'all, the Slim Reaper is just so tough, y'all. In 2K, KD is just built different in my opinion. Like, you could really build a team around KD and not worry about it. And I feel like out of these three guys, KD is just the best player. He's 6'10" and can move like a guard and defend multiple positions compared to guys like Kobe, where he's only 6'6", so you can't really guard a power forward as well as a guy like KD. So with that being said, I'm gonna start KD, have T-Mac come off my bench, and I'm gonna cut Kobe Bryant, y'all. All right, y'all, next one coming in is from my guy CJ, man. Shout out to my fam. Go follow him on Instagram, y'all. And the list he gave me was Yao Ming, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tim Duncan, y'all. And this one was pretty tough too. I had to really sit there and look at their badges and stats and think about it. But when it comes down to it, y'all, I'm gonna cut Yao Ming, and here's why. Although he's 7'6", he's the tallest one on this list. He can't shoot the ball at all. He has a 45 3-ball. And he's stupid slow, y'all. His speed is only a 25, and same thing for speed with ball, it's at a 25. And defensively, he only has 7 badges. So I'm gonna cut him. Next up on this list that I'm gonna have come off my bench is actually Shaq. And some of y'all probably would have Shaq starting or whatever y'all would have. Hey, it is what it is. Preferably, I'm gonna have Shaq come off my bench. It wasn't easy making this one, but Shaq does have the best defense on this list, and he's the fastest one on this list, but he can't shoot the ball, y'all. And that having a big that can shoot the ball, like, I can't stress it enough, is huge. And Tim Duncan can shoot the ball, y'all. Like, I promise you, if you go 5 out and guys want to sag off of Tim Duncan and he's sitting in that corner, he has a 75 3-ball, y'all. Like, I already went over Tim Duncan earlier, I'm sure, in this video. But yeah, Tim Duncan can stretch the floor way more compared to the other two guys, and he's not as slow as Yao Ming. He's at a 66, so he's not as fast as Shaq, but at least he has a 66 overall speed, and he has 11 defensive badges, whereas Shaq has only one extra one, which is 12. He does have a lot of them on Hall of Fame, but I will say that at least Tim Duncan has 11, whereas Yao Ming only has 7 defensive badges. So with that being said, I'm gonna start Tim Duncan, go for offense, then have Shaq come off my bench and cut Yao Ming, y'all. All right, y'all, next one is coming in from my dog Rella Miri, and the list he gave me was James Harden, Jaylen Brown, and KD. This one wasn't too hard, I feel like, to separate on this video for this content. The guy I would cut, surprisingly, is actually James Harden. The reason being, y'all, is he can't play defense very well, and his shot, I'm not a fan of that release this year. Back in the old 2Ks, if he had that old release like in 2K13, James Harden would definitely not be cut. But because that release just holds him back, y'all, and he's just really limited to just slashing and can't defend, and he's a 6'6", just like Jaylen Brown, I'd rather have Jaylen Brown come off my bench, because Jaylen Brown at least can be a 3-and-D type of player. Now, he's not as good as a main primary ball handler type of player like James Harden could be, but I will say that Jaylen Brown, I could green more shots with him, especially in a catch and shoot situation at the 3-pointer. And on top of that, his defense is just way better, y'all. His defense just blows out James Harden from the waters, and his is 87 overall perimeter defense, and lateral quickness is an 89, and he has 10 defensive badges, which leads me to KD being my last guy. And you already know how I feel about KD, man. He's a 6'10 demigod that could do it all. So yeah, I'm gonna start KD, have Jaylen Brown off my bench, and I'm gonna cut James Harden, y'all. All right, y'all, next one is from my dog Rohan, man. Shout out to Rohan. And the list he gave me was Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, and Damian Lillard. So let's get into who I'd cut first. The guy I'm gonna cut first is Kyrie Irving. The reason being is I'm not really consistent with his shot in terms of 3-pointers. He's supposed to be able to quick stop. Obviously he can, but just me personally, I'm not a fan of that release this year. So yeah, I'm gonna cut Kyrie Irving. Coming off my bench is Russell Westbrook, y'all. Russell Westbrook is like a De'Aaron Fox that could run like a crackhead basically, and he has Steph Curry dribble sticks. And the thing with Westbrook is you can actually quick stop in the mid-range. His release is kind of slow. It does have a long load up, and he's only a 78 in the mid-range, which is surprising. But like I said, you can use him in the mid-range and quick stop. And because he has Steph Curry dribble sticks, that helps him out a lot. But the reason I have him coming off my bench is because he can't shoot the ball at the 3-point line as good, especially with that slow ass release. So with that being said, I'm gonna start Damian Lillard because he can slash to the rim solid, and I like his 3-point shot way more compared to the other two guys, especially Russell Westbrook. So with that being said, I'm gonna start Damian Lillard, have Westbrook off my bench, and I'm cutting Kyrie Irving in 2K21. All right, last but not least is my boy Tesh, man. My boy Tesh sent in a list of Allen Iverson, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade. This one, man, like, the thing with this list is Carmelo Anthony and Iverson are not good 2K players, y'all. Like, I hate it because I was a big fan of this Nuggets squad when I was a youngin. I loved watching them, but man, when I try using them in 2K, like, I can't mess with this team. Like, I'd rather use J.R. Smith over Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. And so yeah, let's get into who I'd cut first. I'm actually gonna cut Carmelo Anthony, y'all, and here's why. Although he has the best build and could be potentially the best defender on this list, his shot is just not very good. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I prefer shooting with Allen Iverson because he has that Trey Burke, T-Mac type of release, whereas Melo just has this weird hitch, and he's kind of like James Harden. Like, I loved Melo's release back in the old 2Ks when he was actually on the Knicks IRL. He was water, like knockdown. I remember using that Knicks squad like they were like every single time I played. But yeah, like in the 2Ks nowadays, like they hold him. Like, his release sucks. And on top of that, he's not the best at rim running, and he's kind of slow with the ball too, kind of like Jason Tatum. He reminds me of like a Jason Tatum, y'all. So I'm gonna cut Carmelo Anthony and have Allen Iverson come off my bench. Now, Allen Iverson can run to the rim, but he's gonna lay the ball up for you every time. So that's the problem. He'll get blocked and you'll have to shoot contested layups, and like, I don't like shooting those. And then shooting with him, you can't really shoot with him either because he only has a 77 overall 3-point rating. So you have to depend on him shooting layups, making layups over the bigs, and shooting mid-range shots, which you're only going for 2s, y'all. So yeah, and then going into who I would start, which is obviously going to be Dwayne Wade. And I like Dwayne Wade because he is taller than Iverson, and he can play defense, y'all, and he has a better build. He has a 91 perimeter defense and a 92 overall lateral quickness, and on top of that, he dunks the ball, so you can use him as a rim running type of point guard. Although he's undersized, he's way better at rim running, in my opinion, compared to AI, because he'll dunk the ball and get some contact dunks here and there. And on top of that, he has base 98. If you don't know, that's the release that every single park player likes to use, and especially in my team too. A lot of top cards have that base 98 release, which is super quick, and if you know that release is super water, y'all. So with that being said, I'm gonna start Dwayne Wade, have AI off my bench, and cut Carmelo Anthony, y'all. Alright, y'all, let me know what y'all think of episode 1 of Start Bench Cut in 2K21 this year. But alright then, y'all, that is gonna wrap up this video. Hope y'all dig it. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to smash that subscribe button as we're on the road to 900 subs. It's completely free and it'll make my day. And as always, I appreciate every single one of y'all, and much love.